everybody and welcome at video 5. Today I want to talk about Instagram and how you can use Instagram for your personal brand or for your company to sell products. I know those two are very different, but the way that you use the different tactics on Instagram are very similar. So that's why I want to mention them both. Today I will only talk about organic Instagram, which means not all the paid activities that you can do. And I would strongly suggest you, if you're a company and you want to sell products, that you do some paid activities as well. When you use Instagram without paying for it for your company or for your brand, it will have the main focus on awareness and not really on selling the products. So I will make another video about Instagram and then the paid version, but today I will only talk about free Instagram users, so awareness. So it all starts with a good profile. And I know I'm repeating myself, but it is so important that you have a good profile before you start to share any content. Your profile needs to be complete. It needs to have a good profile image, which could be an image of yourself or a logo or a picture of the products that you sell. And it needs to have a clear description. So what can people expect when they start to follow you? When you use it for your personal brand, it can be about what are your interests, what will you be sharing, what type of images. When you use it for your company, it's of course about your brand, the types of services or products that you deliver. It's all about telling a story. So there's also the option to share a link in your description. And a lot of people change this link very often. So when you share an image about a specific subject and you want to send people to a landing page, it's not possible to hyperlink something in the image or in the description that you share with the image. You always have to point people to the link in the top description on your profile, which means it's really hard to get a lot of sales out of your Instagram activity, but it is a great way to promote a landing page, a blog, something that you want to share. Again, if you want to get a lot of people on your landing page because of your Instagram activity, you really need to spend a bit of money on Instagram, which we're not going to talk about today. So when you have your profile ready to start sharing content, ask yourself a couple of questions. What is your main goal with your Instagram account? So do you want to share knowledge? Do you want to sell your products? Do you want to grow a network of people with a similar interest? So it's really important that you have a good understanding of what it is that you want to achieve with Instagram. It's also really important that you only pick one subject. So if you have an interest in fashion and you also have an interest in cooking, it's really hard to combine those two. It's not hard to find images, of course, because they're both your passion, but it's really hard to get a lot of followers. The reason why is because people who follow you because of your fashion interest and the images that you share around fashion are maybe not interested at all in the images that you share about the food that you cook or the recipes that you're working on. What will happen is when the people start to follow you because of a fashion image, they will unfollow you when you start to share your cooking images. So it's really important that you only focus on one subject. When you use Instagram for your company, it's a bit easier because it will probably be a lot about your company. But only talking about your company isn't relevant at all. It's boring. So make sure that when you have your one subject, whether this is your company or this is the specific interest that you have, make it as broad as possible. So everything that relates to this subject is relevant when you share stuff on Instagram. So when you have your goal very clear, it's all about what type of profile do you want. Instagram has a lot of options for filters, and there are even more applications that can give you extra filters to make your pictures even better, more shiny, more colorful, whatever you prefer. It's really important that you're consistent on your profile. So do a bit of research and see what profiles you like. Maybe you like profiles with a lot of white colored images. Maybe you like the very bright images. And make a decision when you start to share images. Because people love to follow profiles that are consistent, so they know what to expect again. And talking about images, it is of course really important that you have high quality images. So don't share an image just for the sake of sharing it. Make sure that your image is of high quality, relevant, and that it looks really, really good. Instagram is all about visuals. It's all about your image. If your image isn't great, it's not going to happen. So make sure that your images are really good quality, that you have the right light, that you have the right background, that it's not messy, that it looks professional, and that will help you to get loads of followers really quick. So once you have your strategy ready and you have an idea of what type of images you want to share and what types of filters to use, it's all about planning. I've been using Instagram very actively for the last months to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And I found out that it's really hard to constantly post really good images. It takes a lot of time to, first of all, think about what images you want to share. And second of all, sometimes you're really busy and you feel the pressure of I really need to share an image, but you don't have anything to share. So what helps me is to plan ahead. So every Saturday or every Sunday I book in some time and I make images that I will use throughout the week, which helps me to be prepared during the week. So when I'm really busy, I already have my images ready that I can share on Instagram. So that's one of the tips that I will give you. Don't overpromise. So if you start to share 3 or 4 images per day, make sure that you keep on sharing 3 or 4 images per day. The more consistent you are, the better. The best thing to do, especially when you start with your Instagram, is to share on specific times on the day so people know when to expect an image from you. Another important thing that really helps to grow your network on Instagram is not only having a great profile, but also showing that you're there. And the only way to do that is by interacting with other people. So search for specific hashtags and see other images, like other images, comment on images. Because what will happen is when you start to like images and you start to comment on images, people actually see your name, they can click on your name and they will land on your profile. So they will see your profile and then there's a good chance that they will actually start to follow you. Talking about searching for hashtags, hashtags are key on Instagram. The only way to reach people that are not following you is by using the right hashtags. There are a lot of hashtags on Instagram that you can use. But you can imagine that if you use a hashtag that nobody else uses, nobody will search for it. So it's really important that you understand which hashtags are relevant for your target group. So do a bit of research, and the research can be really simple. Just search on Instagram and see the amount of images that show up when you search for a specific word. The higher the number, the better. But maybe not, because if there's such a high number of images, it means that the new images come in really fast. Where if you have a hashtag that hasn't been used that often, I mean, it is used on a daily basis, but not every second, that might be a better option for you. So try to understand which hashtag works the best for you. Normally you would use around 9 to maximum 11 hashtags, so it's a lot more than you would use on Twitter, for example, and that will help you to reach a lot of people and to get a lot of engagement on your images. So if you feel like your profile is ready and you're sharing content, you're using the right hashtags, you have all your content planned and you actually know what you want to do, it's all about just not giving up. And I know it's really hard. As I said, I focused on Instagram for the last weeks, and although I saw my network growing, it also drops really fast. So I try to share 4 images per day and I try to spend at least 30 minutes per day interacting with other people on Instagram. But I found out if I still post 4 images per day, but I don't have the time to actually interact with other people, that my follower number dropped automatically. So it is a profile that's it is a channel that's very interactive and there's a lot going on. So you need to scream really hard to stand out. So I would say if you're very consistent and you spend a bit of time on engaging with people, you will see that your network will grow. Maybe slower than you expect, but it will grow. And I appreciate every follower, and I would say do the same, because every person that starts to follow you is a new person in your network. So enjoy Instagram. If you have any questions, please let me know, and otherwise I see you in the next video.